Hi, my name is David, and I'm bringing a brief thought on the subject of prayer, of petitioning God and asking for yourself. Now, this is something that I struggle with a bit for a couple of reasons. The first is that I've always believed the only two things we have control over are our own actions and our own attitudes, and that prayer is more about changing me rather than changing other people or circumstances. I'm not saying that prayer can't change other people or events. What I'm saying is that I like to treat prayer as something that first changes me. C.S. Lewis, an author that I admire, once said it like this: I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God, it changes me. The second reason I struggle a bit with asking for myself is that I find it hard to know when I'm asking for the right things. For example, if I'm driving somewhere and look out of the window at a beautiful sports car, for example, my brain will say, it would be nice to have one of those, maybe two. Or if I'm trying to fix something around the house, my brain will say, if you moved to a newer house, you wouldn't have these problems. Or, perhaps more subtly, you've been working hard recently, why not spend a few evenings in front of the TV? When I fill my mind with ungodly thoughts, or unwholesome media, or fill my time with selfish pursuits and practices, I find that it becomes harder to connect with God. He feels more distant. Just like my thoughts and practices seem to distract me, I've also got a theory that when we surround ourselves with man-made objects, it also becomes harder to focus on God. Many man-made things are uninspiring, but even the inspiring man-made things are more likely to lead us to praise the human creator rather than the divine creator. I think for me, that's why getting out of the house, out of the street, out of the city and walking along a riverbank or up a hill or through the woods is such an essential part of my prayer life. Endless inspiration and very few distractions. When you think about it, there are many historical examples of this, such as humankind walking in the garden with God, Abraham climbing a hill to pray and to offer sacrifice, the people of Israel slowly being shaped by their wilderness wandering, King David crying out in the fields and caves, Joseph and Mary returning home for the census, the birth and the long walk home, the Beatitudes delivered on a mountainside, on a lake, in the garden, the list goes on. And even the modern practice of outward bound courses and wilderness retreats, technology-free weekends away. For me, being outdoors means I'm far, far less likely to be distracted by my fleeting ideas. My brain quietens down and I'm more likely to focus on asking for the things that really matter. Specific answers to prayer in my own life. I started learning piano when I was 6, and at the age of 11 I'd given up on the classical music lessons. However, a year later, an opportunity came along to play again, this time with other musicians and a style of music that I enjoyed more. I was even rougher playing at the age of 12 than I am now, but I still remember praying to offer what I could do in service to the one who gave me the gift. Plenty of opportunities started coming my way, and I became amazed at the ways and the occasions when I've had the opportunity to use music to give something back. Another example of how prayer has changed me was the time when I asked, quite specifically, that I would start seeing things the way God sees them. From that point onward, I have moments when, maybe in a certain scene, or in front of me or a story in the news will stop me in my tracks, and I'm overwhelmed with empathy. I've tried my best to use this empathy to see things from the other person's viewpoint as best as I can. I don't always get it right. I'm often in too much of a hurry to see it from the other person's viewpoint. But when I choose to give it care and attention, the prayer I prayed 20 years ago is still answered. My last example of something that has been answered prayer, but that I still pray for frequently, is my desire for more wisdom and more patience. If prayer can make these changes in me, it can make these changes in anyone. Father, you know our hearts. My prayer today is that you would align our desires with your purposes. Amen.